What is up, guys? Today I decided to try something new for the channel. So with the current state of DayZ and in 1.25, I thought this is a good overview of where it's been in the last couple of years. You know, it's a solid patch. Like the guns are really balanced. Everyone's enjoying it. No one has any complaints. And with Sakal on the horizon and 1.26 being an experimental, there's a lot of changes coming. So I thought this would be, there's no better time than now to get this kind of video out. So you guys know how a tier list works, right? But it's not going to be in the sense that it's just the best and worst guns. It's also about where you're finding these guns, how they help you progress through tiers of loot, and, you know, just how long it's going to be on your kit when you find it. Is it useless or is it super useful? And like, are you psyched about it? Or are you kind of pissed? So without further ado, let's get started. Tier list. CR pistol. This is just a good, solid gun. I'm going to try and not do this too much. The CR pistol and the Glock are kind of one and the same, so I'll just put them together. I'm not going to do that for everything, but for this specifically, they're basically the same gun. You know, you find them pretty early on. You can find 9mm super easy. The attachments can be a little bit tricky to find. If you can get them, it is a really good gun and will help you get out of like the coast and the spawn towns really fast, really soon, make things very easy for you. Now, maintaining them for once you get out of the kind of the beginner tier loot and go to mid to end, 9mm is pretty plentiful, but maintaining a suppressor is a little bit hard. You know, you don't want to be using your whole kit, weapon cleaning kit, on a pistol suppressor. So they're a little bit of a pain in the ass. It's better when it's built in, wink, wink. But yeah, just good C tier weapon, I would say. One and the same again. So yeah, C tier for both of them. So moving on, we have the Scorpion. A lot of people enjoy using this gun, but I hate this gun. I think this gun is D tier easily for me. I have thousands of hours in DayZ, and every time I pick this gun up, I feel like I'm shooting a gun in DayZ for the first time. You know, putting this thing on full auto, you're constantly missing. You have a super small mag and you're shooting pellets at people. It's like not even doing any real damage. So you're missing, it's super hard to control, and by the time you actually kind of like center in on somebody, you're already out of ammo. I don't care if you get a suppressor for this thing. Even on single shot, it kind of sucks like killing zombies and stuff. So it's D tier for me. It's not that hard to choose. Yeah, trash gun. Hate this gun. Moving on, we got the IJ. The IJ, I think, even though it's shooting the same bullets as a Scorpion, I actually enjoy using this thing. You know, you get a suppressor on this thing. It's a good zombie killer. Honestly, it probably is a better zombie killer than the Glock or the CR pistol. So you can keep it on your kit a long time, and it kills people early on too. Like it's doing the same damage as the Scorpion. It's just more accurate.
Yo, bro, friendly?
You guys got problems?
I have no problem. You're walking around with a gun in your hand, asking me if I have a fucking problem. What do you mean chasing you? I'm trying to talk.
I said you're chasing me. Shut the fuck up.
I'm not. What do you mean chasing you? We're looting, bro. You just came up to us. Chasing you. What the fuck does that mean? How about you put that gun away, dude, and fucking put that attitude away?
So yeah, it will be good for the starting area, and you can probably keep it on your kit later on as you get more geared. So not too much else to say, just a decent C tier gun as well. Up next, we have the MP5. I consider the MP5 kind of, I can almost see it being C tier, but I put it more like where the Scorpion's at. Unless you're getting a 30 round mag for this thing, it is just trash. It's useless. It's kind of like, it's kind of LARPing as like a real useful gun. You know, you can put a lot of attachments on it. It looks cool. But when you actually shoot this thing, for the most part, it's shit. You know, you need a 30 round mag and then it's C tier. Otherwise, for the most part, you have no buttstock. You have a 15 round mag and you're wondering, why am I not just taking up less space and using the pistol? So yeah, I don't enjoy it. It's not a good gun in my opinion. The FNX. The FNX is also D tier. 45 used to be very fun to use. It'd do a lot of damage, and I don't know, just overall, it was a good round to shoot. But, you know, I mean, this is years ago, right? They nerfed 45. Now it basically is the equivalent of 9mm. It just maybe wobbles a zombie. I think it does like some pushback mechanic. But Either way, you're finding it in military, so obviously you're not looking for a pistol in a military complex. You're looking for a real rifle of some kind. So, and it takes some attachments. It's kind of okay. The ammo's not too hard to find, but the suppressor needs to be basically pristine, or else the suppressor, you're still getting aggro even if it's worn or damaged. And not only are you getting aggro, but even players who are in the area, if it's like on damage, can still hear it a lot easier than something that's 9mm or 380 or 22. So moving on to the Deagle. The Deagle is A tier for me. This thing, if you can get the suppressor, you can get a scope. If you shoot at people at long distance with this thing, you range it up to 150, it's deadly. You can probably 3 or 4 shot people. They won't even know what's hitting them. They can't really hear where the round's coming from. You know, it chunks people good. It doesn't matter if they have a plate, you mess them up. 357's still a little bit nerfed. You can probably find this thing about mid-tier. If you're lucky, you get it early on. But yeah, for what it is, I enjoy using this thing. If you have nothing else but a Deagle with a suppressor and a scope.
He's bleeding. He's up the hill.
Oh, I see him. I got eyes.
Close rocks, yeah.
I killed him.
Honestly, you can go a long way with it. So I think it's A tier. Maybe, fuck. You know what? As I say these things, I'm judging myself about how I'm rating this tier list. It's B tier because you don't want to be, you can get forced to use this thing and it will be good, but you don't want to be using this. And it doesn't even really stay on your kit when you get a real rifle, because when you're not using this with a suppressor because you hardly have any ammo for it. The ammo's kind of hard to find. I'm changing it up. I'm switching up. It's actually B tier. The 1911, same deal as the FNX. It's just not good anymore. It's a sick looking gun. Both these have cool factor, but it's a waste of your time to really be using anywhere after you find even just a small rifle. So we got the Sporter, the 22. The 22 hits decent, and you can find ammo for it really early on, but at the same time, the second you find something else, I'm between C tier and D tier just because you can find ammo early, but you don't want to be using this past the coast, past the starting towns. So it's D tier for me. Yeah. It's fun. You can one tap somebody if you're very lucky. It's happened to me at like distance. Like if you put a scope on and shoot someone 100 meters, you can kill them. And I have been killed by that, but it's incredibly lucky. It's super hard to do. For the most part, it's a shit gun. The Magnum, same deal. The ammo is hard to find and it's not that great, and it has no use after like the beginning area. So we'll just do, it has so much nostalgia around it though, just because of the mod, right? Like everybody who's played the mod finds this thing. You used to be able to play Russian roulette with this thing.
But it just spawned, did you see?
Yeah.
I don't know why they nerfed it. It's been nerfed. The round's been nerfed. The fucking, the mechanics with it have been nerfed. It was a fun gun to use. You feel like you're in Deer Hunter with this thing, but they're both D tier now. I could almost see an argument for F. The Repeater, same deal. Hard ammo to find. I hate using it. I actually think I would have a Magnum over the Repeater just because it shoots faster and it has about the same effective range. So this thing is D tier for me too. Man, I'm throwing a lot of these in D tier right now, but it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So next up we have the Longhorn. The Longhorn is B tier for me. I enjoy using this thing a lot. Getting a 308 sniper handgun early on is super useful. You finding in like deer stands and stuff, and you only need one bullet in the starting area, in the mid-tier area, just because people either have like shitty armor or like no armor at all. So you can one-shot people super easy or just uncon them. So if you're sneaky about it, your play style is a little bit ratty, it's B tier, I think. I enjoy using this thing a lot. It's super fun to cause chaos with this thing. Next up, we have the pump shotgun. I have this thing, I'm between D and C tier just because it reloads slow, right? But it does have multiple rounds and it's shooting a shotgun. You'll kill people in the starting town you find it at. And it's good for, you know what? It's C tier. It's just a decent gun to have. It's not great by any means, but you'll kill people. You can use it for a long time, right? Like, you can probably use it up to mid tier as long as it's just your close range gun and you have something for long. So, yeah, it's just C tier for me.
Here we go.
Next, we have the sawed-off BK-18. This thing is shit. I don't know who's making these things. I don't think I've actually ever seen one in the game, like actually being carried by someone for like on purpose. The only reason you make this thing is if like your friend dies and you want something to remember him by, and for some reason he made this thing. Otherwise, I don't know. It's trash. I don't even see these things. Are they real? Has anyone ever seen one? Let me know in the comments. I've never seen one. The normal BK-18, on the other hand, is a good gun. You find the ammo for it early on. You can shoot people at range. You got to be a little bit of an aimer to use this thing just because it's one shot reload.
What?
There's a guy behind him with a gun. Oh, shit. He's aiming. No! Knocked him out.
But it does good damage. It shoots a good round. You shoot people at distance. It's range at 200 meters. Like, it's meant to kill people. So yeah, you can get out of the coast with it and use it for a little bit, but not too long. You know, you just bring it to the first military and swap it out with something. So moving on, the P1 pistol. It should. It's just like a shittier version of the Glock and the CR pistol. Like, why are you using this thing? It's got an 8-round mag. It has no suppressor capability. It just don't. The sawed-off single barrel shotgun. Again, who's using these? Why are you taking your time to make this shit? Don't bother. Stop. Single barrel BK-12 shotgun is also shit, but is it F tier? Like, you can kill people with this thing. I don't think you can kill people with that single barrel like sawed off, but you put a slug in this thing or a buckshot and you just sit in a corner. Maybe you get somebody. So for that, it's D tier. Next, we have the double barrel sawed off shotgun. This thing is cool. I feel like people used to use it more in like Kami Showa or something, where you would just sit in town and hope some geared guy would walk up to you and try and press you. And then you could pull this thing out of your pants or your shirt or a backpack and just blast him with it. But again, you don't want to be using this thing if you're relying on, you have to trick somebody to use this thing. So for that, it's kind of F tier, honestly. Why are you making this? It's not that good. Now, the double barrel version, long barrel, is pretty sick. I'm almost considering it to be B tier just because if you put this on double, like, you can kill people with plates and stuff, but it's a close range gun. So honestly, it's B tier just because you're going to find it early on. You're going to have it for a long time if that's how you're proficient with it. Personally, I actually don't really set most guns on double, but you know, if I wanted to play the gambling, dude, like I play the fucking percentage. I'm not putting this thing on double and hoping to God that I hit the shot, and if I miss, I'm screwed. If I have this thing on, if I just have it on single and I shoot once and I miss, I can shoot again, and maybe I'll live, maybe I'll headshot him, maybe I'll just knock him out. Maybe I'll hurt them and they need to like take cover. But I don't play that. I play the percentage. But if you are good and you keep this thing on double, you can kill people with plates. Like, it's super useful. So it's B tier for me because you can have it on your kit a long time. Enough said.
I thought you could shoot through doors. I don't know. Through doors. Maybe not
Gun.
buckshot. Through doors. I don't know. Yo. Maybe not buckshot. Get him, bro. Oh, nice, bro! Did you get him? Wait, wait!
Relax.
Shut the door.
There's another one! Why is there
Shut.
another one?
Oh. I'm struggling out. I'm struggling out. But you can't shoot through the door. You can't shoot through the door.
I know.
That's how I died.
Oh, I'm hurt. I'm so hurt. My arms. My arms.
Crossbow. This is a zombie killer gun, really. Like, it's not even a gun, but it's not melee either, right? So I kind of have it in here. No big deal. You guys will live. I think this thing is D tier just because, again, you find in the starting area, you can probably make the bolts yourself if you get a knife, and it's pretty mean.
You ruined my gun.
Did I really? Take that.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh no. Oh no, it's the compliment lady again.
Well, no, because these people. How do I help you?
Oh, you broke my leg, you psycho.
Time to lay down. Sleepy.
Oh, my other leg.
Sleepy man goes to sleep.
You can go break people's legs, kind of troll people with this thing. You don't have to worry about zombies too much. You can kill them all in the starting area with this thing. But just as far as like keeping it with you, it's just too big. It's a pain in the ass to carry around. Your bolts kind of break over time too. It's useful. I almost would give it C tier, but if the space was less, I think it'd be better. Just because you tend to have to kind of choose what you're going to give up. And most of the time it is the crossbow. You're not picking something else. So yeah, the Amphibia. The Amphibia is A tier for me. Just because you find this thing early, you can get 50 bullets out of one box. It's a built-in silencer, and you find it at the start, and you're going to probably have it on your end dream kit just for killing zombies and stuff. It's not necessarily the best player killer, so maybe that deserves B tier then, just because you're not gonna you're not pulling this thing out on one last stand. Honestly, you're probably trying to reload your gun one more time before you try and use this thing to defend yourself. So yeah, it's just B tier. I'll stay on your kit the whole way through, and it's super useful. My bad, I realized I forgot a gun, the Derringer. This thing's trash though. I don't know why I took the time to bring it back in. Yeah, this thing, you pick it up. If it has some bullets in it, you use it. The second you use those bullets, you drop it. It's not that great. You can feel like you're John Wilkes Booth. What did he think about it? John Wilkes Booth, last words. Oh. So anyway, continuing on. The police sniper. This gun is pretty good. I like this thing. I think I'm just gonna have to put it in C tier though. It's a good sniper. It shoots a decent round. The round's kind of hard to find. They're pretty common, and it has the scope attached, right? So you can kill people pretty easy with this up to mid tier. Even if they have like a shitty play like a stab vest or something, you'd probably kill them. But it gets outgunned pretty early on once you start dealing with people with hunting scopes and stuff. So it's just C tier. No biggie. The CR sniper. This thing, I almost want to give it A tier. I think I am. You can use this thing for a long time. You find it early on. Even if you're just single chambering it, it's probably one of the best guns you can find in the starting zones. And you can use it all the way up until you start dealing with people who have like 308 and stuff. It's honestly even probably better than a Mosin, just because the round might not be as strong, but again, you have a sniper scope while the Mosin's just a PU. So yeah. CR Sniper, A tier for me. I love using this thing. Now, it can be a little bit iffy if you try and shoot somebody in the head or, you know, if they have a Gorka helmet on.
Hey man, don't move. Don't move, don't move. Don't grab your gun. Grab your gun. Throw your shit on the ground. I'm gonna shoot. This face mask was ruined! He can't, dude, this helmet's fucking goated.
Just as far as dealing with armored people, it gets a little bit less reliable. So that's the one caveat to it. That's why I can see an argument for it being in B tier, but I have it in A tier. I like using this thing a lot. Next up, we have the PB Bison. This thing is also trash. I have this in D tier. Just where you're finding this thing, you're disappointed when you find it, right? You're finding this in like military barracks and high tier loot areas, and this is the last thing you want to find. There's only 2 guns, by the way, that you don't want to find there. It's this one, and it's the UMP. We're just gonna throw it in together. Fuck it. These are both trash guns. You should not be picking these up. You should hope that you don't need these by the time you find them, and they're useless for the areas that you're in using them. Like at Northwest Airfield, anywhere down south on Livonia, these things are trash. They're useless. They're not even gonna be better than most guns at close range. So D tier, not too much else to say. The UMP used to be good. It is now shit. The PB Bison was never good. It is still shit. Up next, we have the Pioneer. The Pioneer is a B tier weapon for me. This thing is great. It's sturdy. You can find good attachments for it. You got the 4X and the 6X. You can put a suppressor on it if you're lucky. The bullet type is really common to find, and it shoots straight. And if they don't have a plate on or anything, it'll kill them in one shot. So all around, it's a good B tier weapon. You know, it's the budget sniper before you find something real. So yeah, B tier, pretty easy. The Sega shotgun. I don't play base rating servers, so I would almost want to put this thing in F, but it has the potential to kill people at close range. So it's D, probably over these 2 guns, but like, yeah, it's full auto. The recoil is fucking awful. It drops off after 25 meters, and unless you're in a close corridor situation, you're in CQB, and you have it on full auto buckshot, it's probably shit. And honestly, you're probably still getting outgunned because it's so inaccurate. You've got too much recoil. So D tier for me. The AK-74 SU, I think I have this thing. You find it pretty early on is the thing. Like you can find this at a truck or something decently early. So just for that, I almost want to give it B tier just because it's a full auto gun that you find decently early. But it's also not that great at distance. I think you can be, depending on how you're feeling during the months, I fall in and out of love with this gun. So I can either see me putting in C tier or B tier. I think at the moment I have it at like the top of C tier, just because, you know, it's not good aiming down sight. You have to hip fire everything, which is okay if they're within like 50 to 100 meters. But anything after that, you pretty much get outgunned and embarrassed. And it's, you know, it's still not that great of a round. It's just decent. So I'd probably put it top of C tier. Decent, not amazing. Next up, we have the SKS. We finally have our first S tier weapon. This thing is the shit. This thing you find early, you get all the ammo you ever need, and you can take on anybody all the way to the end game. You know, at the start, you just roll everybody you see. It's even good for just like, if you find it at mid tier, you can still bring it all the way till you get to really late game. Until you're getting anything really good, like a FAL or an M4, this is pretty much what you want. You know, you can use it at close quarters, you can use it at distance, all around S tier deserving weapon. An OG, it used to be even stronger. It used to shoot 308 back in the day. They even nerfed it. They took out the clip strips. What were they called? Clip strip, SKS, stripper clip. Oh man, yeah, this thing is a staple of DayZ at this point. So S tier.
Fucking monologuing, dude. What the hell?
The sawed-off blaze. Who's making these? Have you seen it? I haven't. F tier. The normal blaze, I think you can make an argument for it being an S tier. I don't use it enough. I don't use it how it's intended. A lot of people put it on double shot. I use single and just kind of play the percentage, like I said, with double barrel. So I have it at, you know, it's A tier for me. It's a decent gun. It's not the best. I would rather have different sniper rifles, but it is good because sometimes people think you're on double shot all the time. So they'll peek you after you shoot once and then you get them to kill them. It's decent, but there are better sniper rifles now at this point in the game. So it's A tier. M16. I have this probably the top of B tier. This is my top B tier weapon. Just because the iron sight, dude. I swear, maybe I'm wrong about this. Back in the day, could you not take that sight off? I feel like you could take the iron sight off. Either way, the iron sight is shit, but if you get a coupled 60 round mag and you put it on burst, you basically have a full auto close range M16. It's a really good gun until you upgrade to something better. So It'll hold you where you're at when you find it, but it is still B tier for me. There's a lot better guns you'll find later on. And especially where you're finding it, probably mid to late, you're looking for something else. The sawed-off Mosin, it's shit. The normal Mosin is A tier for me. Not S tier. Maybe these people have complaints for this. I feel like you can't find them as common anymore in the starting area. I feel like they've made the Mosin into a mid to late tier weapon, which is fine for me because the round is so good. But, you know, again, your gun has been nerfed in DayZ at some point. It's probably still an awesome gun. I can see the argument for S tier. But if you're playing normal vanilla DayZ, it's A tier. Just because the PU scope, yeah, A tier for me. Next up, we have the 308 Winnie. This bad boy is also S tier. I've been back and forth with this thing for a while. I like the Savannah a lot too, but I think this is technically the better gun. I don't like reloading it all the time is the thing, but I think it shoots faster. It's a little bit more accurate. You're picking and choosing really about the stats as to what gun is better, but just for pure nostalgia and what, you know, I'm used to, I think the Winchester is above the Savannah for me. So I have it in S tier.
Nice shot.
And yeah, I'll just put the Savannah in A tier for myself. I can see this being top of A tier. There's not too many guns that are going to be better than this, but yeah. So Savannah A tier, I can see either argument for these being switched or being both up there or both being in A tier. I'm all ears. Let me know. Next up, we have the AK-74. I have this in A tier, middle of the range A tier. The ammo type's super common to find. It gets decent attachments, does decent damage. It's a good mid to late tier gun. When you find it, basically you kind of start feeling like you're well off and you have a good kit. But you still are looking for some more endgame progression. Either way, I don't think anyone's upset when they have this thing. I have it at A tier. Not the best, but it's really good.
I'm safe.
Next up, we have the Mini AUG. I have this thing at C tier, I think, just for where you're finding it. You're getting it mid to late. It feels kind of shit. It's not even the best close range gun. The scope on it sucks. It uses 5.56, which is pretty easy to find, but overall, I'd rather have a lot of guns over this thing, especially for where you're finding it and where you should be along in your kit as you're getting it. So I just have it at C tier. It's okay. You're not too happy. You're not too upset, but you're waiting for the next gun. The AS Val. This is a really controversial gun for me. I could almost see myself putting it in D tier. Just because you get these things, you know what? Specifically the AS Val, I have this thing in D tier. Just because where you're finding this thing is like high to end game military loot. And the bullet on this thing shoots slow. I don't know why. Silenced, yeah, whatever. You can get a 30 round mag now, but again, you get some attachments. It's okay. It has armor piercing rounds. I get it. But personally for me, for how slow the bullet travels for what it is, it's shit. I don't like using it at all. The VSS, same deal. I have this in D tier. You're not using this as a sniper. You're taking the scope off and using it close range. And for the Vicar, I have it in B tier. I like using the Vicar. I don't even know if there's a difference between the Vicar and the AVAL, but it's just, it doesn't feel the same. This thing feels sick. The AS Val feels like shit. I can't explain why. It just does. I don't know why it's like subsonic and the bullet travel is less than on the Vicar, but it feels that way. So very weird. I don't know what the difference is, but my personal preference, I have it in B tier. The AK-101. I think the AK-101 is technically better than the 74, but again, just for where you're finding it, that's honestly more high tier loot. You're not even really getting it mid tier. And just the 74, just for what it is, you're getting more stuff for the 74. So to be honest, I tend to keep the 74 just because even though the 101 shoots 5.56, it's just the attachments are still the same as the 74. The ammo is a little bit more hard to find, and the mags especially are a pain in the ass to find. So I have it in A tier, below the 74. The AKM. I could see people saying the AKM is S tier. I think this is the best AK variant, but at the same time, they made it harder than ever to find. So I probably have this over the 101 and the 74. But I think you can only get this in gas zones now, no? So personally, yeah, it shoots the best. I feel like the recoil control is the best for me. When you have the 75 round drum mag or something, it's pretty sick. But first of all, I don't even think that actually makes a difference either. But just, it's too hard to find now. It's pretty much high to end game military loot, pain in the ass, A tier. Next up, we have the DMR. The DMR is obviously S tier. It depends on how you feel about it. For me, I don't enjoy using the 6 times. I prefer the 4 times. And the bottle suppressor, as cool as that is, it's still a pain in the ass to make. It's, you know, you only get a couple shots with it. Yeah, it shoots 20 rounds of 308, but you shouldn't be using 20 rounds. You should be using at most like 10 anyway. So I have it probably as the second best gun in the game. I think stats wise, again, you can come back and say the DMR is the best gun. But let's be honest. It's the VSD. The VSD gets a silencer. It shoots 7.62 by 5.4, and all around, I enjoy the scope, I think, more than the one you get with the DMR. It's just, for me, a better gun. I think it's the best gun in the game. It's really undisputed at this point. Again, it's personal preference, but getting the East silencer on the SVD is all you need.
We're moving up the hill.
Oh, yep.
Ready? Yeah.
Oh,
Hit
good.
it.
Oh!
One's legs.
He's dead. No, he's not. You hit him, though. Out of ammo. Kill the guy on the ground, right?
Trying to. Just roll him. There's the other one.
He's dead. Oh, shot!
The SV98. This thing is cool as hell. I like that DayZ is finally putting in more advanced snipers, but I haven't found enough of these to really rate what it should be. I think they're high tier loot, but yeah, it's just a Mosin almost that can take a ACOG, and it's a 10 round mag. It's kind of like the Savannah a little bit, but does it take the spot of the Winnie, the SVD, or the DMR? I don't really think so. It's a decent gun. I think it's just worthy of like A tier. You could say top of A tier. I think it's just okay. I haven't used enough of them, so maybe my rating changes later on. But at the moment, the SVD is just A tier. Next up, we have the FAL. The FAL is A tier for me just because it is so high maintenance. This thing is a pain in the ass. It is an endgame weapon. It's not even really high tier loot. Usually when you find it, you're lucky if you have a 20 round mag. Otherwise, you probably have no mag for it and you're just searching. So it's a pain in the ass to pick up. It wears super easy. The attachments are good. The fire rate's good. You'll shred anybody at close range and distance. You know, it's shooting 308. But again, you need a lot of 308 for this thing to be using it. And you probably only have 1 mag. So unless you found somebody who's been taking care of it themselves, you just use something else, honestly. You just leave it where you find it. You kill somebody, hopefully they're geared and they have the stuff for it. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
The GL. You know, this thing's fun. Again, I don't really do base rating, so I can't rate it on that aspect. I think it's B tier. You know what? Just because you have to pull this thing out in combat, like, hopefully don't blow yourself up. And also, you're hoping that, like, nobody shoots you. If you have more than 4 rounds for this thing, they're not hanging off your vest. You're hoping that nobody shoots any containers or shit that you have to blow you up. It's just a real risky gun to use in combat in general. You don't really ever have the time to use it unless you're setting an ambush up. So I just put it in B tier. I'm not really waiting around to ambush people with this thing. It pretty much never gets used. When it does, it's okay.
Oh, just chill. We got this guy.
Oh my god, dude, blowing up right next to me. I'm fucking out of here.
Alright, that was close to where they were. I don't know if I got him.
The FAMAS. The FAMAS is an S tier gun, but there's a caveat. If it is sawed off, it is an S tier gun for me. Because the recoil is horizontal, it's not vertical, you can kill people at distance a lot easier than people realize. The mags aren't too hard to find. It's shooting 5.56. It shoots crazy fast. It feels like it hits like a truck. But if it is not sawed off, it's like bottom of A tier, just because the iron sight is so shit. It is so bad. So for me, I'm envisioning it as sawed off, so I have it in S tier. But if it's not sawed off, it's A tier.
Oh my god, he's rushing them.
with a FAMAS.
Oh my god! Oh gee, behind you! Get the sniper out! Why have you got a sniper out?
Oh, there you go.
Oh my god, the spray.
Oh my god.
Oh, OG
He
down!
just killed OG. Oh my
Is he
god.
knocked?
What a trooper.
He's dead. He's dead. Oh my god, he's soloing orange team.
Finally wrapping things up here. The AUG UX, S tier, easy S tier. Honestly, M4 too, S tier. They're both S tier. I just think I prefer the AUG just because, you know, they take the same mags, they take the same attachments, but even though the fire rate's a little bit less, it's not that big of a difference. Like, you're still killing people with this thing no matter what. It has a little bit more controllable recoil. I don't know. The attachments feel better on the AUG UX as opposed to the M4. The M4 is still sick. I'd take it any day of the week.
There's two above you, Alec.
Get back into cover. Come on, fellas, kill one. You got a foul, bro.
They're both dead.
Nice.
That's all the guns I have. There's nothing really else that... Fuck. The flare gun. It's F tier. That's it, guys. That's the video. Let me know what you think. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs and hit monetization by the end of the year. So if you enjoyed the video, if you somehow made it this far through, leave a like, leave a comment. Appreciate you. See you next time.